Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're getting back to some Celtic related content. The international break is now dwindling out. We will be back to league football at the weekend, back to domestic football, so I thought we'd bring some Celtic content back. If you want to keep up with the national team, I'm sure me and David will be covering the rest of the games, the matches today and during the week on the podcast channel, so go over there. But I need to get something out about Celtic. It's been hard. The transfer window is closed. The league football has abruptly ended with the international break. I've not had a lot to talk about. It's been slow on the news front for Celtic, but we'll try and make this work. We're going to rate the Celtic players so far this season. It's a bit of a grab for content. We're trying here. We're at the bottom of the barrel. Just bear with me. We'll try and make it as fun as possible. Before we go any further with the video, make sure to check out the channel sponsors at the top link of the description. OneFootball, if you want to go and look at the Celtic squad yourself and rate these players, then you can do that through the app. Look at the whole squad, look at their stats this season. Let me know what you think of the players in the comments below. OneFootball giving you news, transfer updates, league tables and fixtures that are coming up, all in the one place. It's very smart, it's very good. You know the dig by now. Use my link for the app in the top line. You're helping me out, you're helping the sponsors out, and we'll have a fun time. Now, of course, Celtic have started the season quite slowly. We are 9 points behind Rangers, who are top of the table. We have a couple of games in hand, over them, so we can close that gap, and we need to do it pretty soon. It's been a frustrating season. Of course, the cries for Lennon out have been shouted. We are slowly recovering. It was at paper over the cracks with the 4-1 win over Motherwell in the last game. We don't know. We need to wait and see. We've got a tough game against Hibs this weekend, but a lot of players haven't turned up this season. We're looking at our star men to give us something, and they've not really been there at times. So it's been frustrating. We've not really found our best 11. Still at this point, we're still looking around. Tom Rogic just came in and done a job. So we're going to go through everybody. A lot of players will be criticised in this video, you'd imagine. A lot of players will be praised in this video. Let me know what you think. I'm sure everyone will differ, but this is just my opinion. My opinion only goes so far. As you know, I'm a specky tube. So what else can I say? We're going to try and go through everybody as quickly as possible, so we're not here all day. So let's start from the goalkeepers and make our way to the forwards. Goalkeepers, Vasilis Barkas. We spent £5 million on the guy, and now he's dropped out the team to accommodate Scott Bain, who some actually think is a better shout to be the starting goalkeeper. Barkas has struggled. A lot will say the only thing he has done is pick the ball out the back of the net. Look, the back line in front of him have been nothing short of an abomination at times, especially Sir Shane Duffy in front of him. So I feel bad for him. I think he will come back into the team after this break, and I think we will give him another chance, but he needs to pick himself up. Out of 10, simply I'm going to go with a 4. I think that might be nice from some people. That they may think I'm giving him too nice a rating there, but look, I think he's been severely underrated at times. I think he's been unlucky. Underrated is probably not the word, but he's just struggled to find that confidence, and the back line isn't helping him. So 4, let's hope that goes up soon, because it's a lot of money we spent, and I still have faith he can come through and be a very important player for us. Scott Bain, who has played the last few games since Barkas dropped out through injury and then onto the bench. Bain for me has been good so far, but still not a quality enough keeper to be our first team choice for the remainder of the season. This is why I think Barkas needs to come through and show his confidence and be a good keeper. Bain has still got a lot of mistakes in him, and the things that he's done and got away with in a few of these games are mistakes that are going to be capitalised on throughout the course of a 38 game season, and he will come back to bite us. I like him, and I'm glad he's finding the confidence and having the opportunity to be the first team keeper, but it's not going to work over a full season unless he shows significant improvement too. Both keepers are in the same boat. I'm going to give Bain a 5 because he's played well in some bigger games. He's obviously played a Europa League now as well. I still don't have that element of trust in him though, and I don't have it with Barkas either, and it just shows the state of our goalkeeping at the minute. Shane Duffy, 2 out of 10. Yep, don't need to say much else. First 2 games he played well, that's where he gets the 2 from. Apart from that, he's been the worst player I think I've seen in a Celtic shirt in a long time, and it's really embarrassing that I'm having to say that, considering how much I and many others bigged him up and what we expected from him. His confidence is below, it's obsidian level. You know, if you play Minecraft, you'll get that. It's just, oh my god, I don't have words for him. Jeremy Frimpong, I'm going to give a 7.5. I think this season he's been one of our best players. He's looking very creative on that right-hand side. Ultimately, he's been one of the only players in the team at times who looks as though he's capable of taking on a man, who looks able to take someone passing a dribble. He's been defensively a lot better this season too than he was last season. You see him, his tackling's getting better, his tracking back's getting better. For someone who last year I looked at as a purely offensive wing-back, has now added a lot to his game. So Frimpong, for me, right now, has been one of the best players in the team. And he looks as though he's only getting better. I feel bad for him that he has to, play alongside Duffy at the minute, but we'll see how that goes. Hatem Abdelhamed, he's not played too much football this season. He's been struggling with little injury knocks and such. He's not played probably as many games as he would have liked to, but Frimpong has done a really good job at keeping him out the team. Look, he's still a solid player. We know how good he can be. His tackling is excellent. Defensively, he's good. He looked really good for Israel too. He was out with the COVID as well at one point, but 2 assists in the league this season. I don't think he's put too much of a foot wrong. Not as good as Frimpong for me, so I'm going to give him a 6. He's just consistently average. I don't think he stood out as much as he did at the start of last season, but he's certainly a player who you can rely on. So I'm going to give him a 6 for now. Christopher Ajer, I'm going to give a 7. I think he's been really good at times this season, and right now is looking like the best centre-half in the team. I'm excited to having Julian back to partner up with Ajer again, because I thought they were remarkable together at times last season. This year he's still had the odd error here and there. I can't go too far with him, but some performances have been great. AC Milan is the one that comes to the top of my head. Yes, I know we lost 3-1 in the game, but he was brilliant, and he was showing, why he was linked with a club like AC Milan. We need those performances consistently, not just a one-off. We need them every week, and that's why he's only getting a 7. I still feel like he's disappeared at times, and defensively we've been a shambles, so it would be criminal for me to come out and give him, an 8, 9, whatever, just because he's had a few really good performances. He's been much better than what he was, I think, last season at times, but he's still got to find his footing and find that partnership with Duffy to get his rating up higher for me. Greg Taylor, 4. He was getting criticised very heavily at the start of the season before we signed, of course, Diego Laxalt. He's a player who I feel sorry for at times. I think he tries his hardest, he plays out his skin, but I don't think the role that he's been playing at Celtic suits him. Like, Kilmarnock was very defensive. You know what Steve Clarke's teams are like. We've seen it with Scotland, and you've seen how well Taylor played for Scotland in the last international break because he was playing a Steve Clarke role. His crossing is terrible. I'm giving him a 4. Will he come back into the team anytime soon? I don't suspect he will because of how well Laxalt is playing. But you know what? I think he's a player who's still very young and can improve, and I look forward to seeing what we can get out of him. With Laxalt there though, probably not going to get much. Near Beaton, I'm going to give 7. I think he's been great for a centre mid who's been asked to play centre back so much. He's done a job. He looks confident, he looks comfortable, and he brings a calmness to the back line when we need it. Yes, he's still made the odd error. I think he's been rash at points, and ultimately he's been part of that back 4 that's been struggling, but he's definitely been a lot better than Duffy beside him, and he's someone who we can always rely on too, the same as El Ahmed. Look, the 2 Israel boys have done a job at that, just being consistently reliable for Celtic. I'm giving him a 7, and do you know what? If he does leave the first team for a while with Ajer and Duffy and Julian being fit, then I do feel bad for him, but right now I don't see why we wouldn't play him over Duffy. Last defender, Diego Laxalt, I'm giving him a big fat 9. What a player he's been since signing. He's been remarkable in the few games that he's played. Look forward to seeing more of him. Perfect in every sense of the word right now. He's crossing, his ability to dribble with the ball, he's tackling, everything. He looks like the complete fullback, exactly what Celtic are needing. He's been a shining light over the past few difficult weeks, and it was really annoying that he played so well in that bad run of form we had, and he had to wait so long for his first win after the shift he was putting in. He's only going to get better, and with him getting better, Celtic's defence will eventually get better. Scott Brown, I'm going to give a 5. Well, just slap bang in the middle. Brown has been so frustrating this season. He's had some games where he has looked unreal. He's looked great. We'll be like, that's the Scott Brown we know, but then the vast majority of the time he's been a passenger in the game and he's been weak, and we've been calling for him to be dropped to accommodate players like David Turnbull, who have spent money on it and brought into the team. Brown for me is obviously our leader. He is the man that we look to in times of need. He can be great, but this year he's just struggled at times. When he's came off the bench, when he's been on the bench, he's came on, he's been amazing. He's came on and changed the game for Celtic. 5 for me. He's been bang average if you look at the course of the whole season. The only reason I think I'm giving him as high as a 5 is for those standout performances he's had so far. Ryan Christie, I'm going to give a 7. He's been frustrating at times this season. He's magical. We've seen it for Scotland the other night. The man who sent us through to the Euros, you could say, with his goal in the 90 minutes. But he's been brilliant. But at the same time, he's been frustrating. His shots, well, they've been heading into every section of the stadium at points. He's a little bit rash, but when you need him to turn up, he does. He can make goals. He can score goals. 7 might seem harsh for a lot of people, and people might say he deserves higher, but there has been times where I just feel like we've needed him to step up, and he hasn't. But apart from that, he's been good. He's been solid this year, and he's been playing a lot on the right-hand side too, which for him isn't natural. He's a number 10. He likes to be in that attacking midfield role, so it's a difficult one for Ryan Christie. But the thing is with him, when he's been on that right-hand side, he's looked really good at even defending, which is something he's added to his game. His season will get better as we get better too. Tom Rogic, 9. And no one deserves a 10 at Celtic, but if anyone does, it's Tom Rogic. Since he's came back into the team, my oh my, what a difference he has made. Twinkle toes himself. Look, he doesn't do a lot of running and hard work in terms of, engine work. You see Christie who bombs up and down, but for me he's just been just such a good addition into this team, and to think we were going to let him go is madness, because he's changed our season. Without him we could have been far worse off, and he's been a real kind of the spearhead for trying to turn around their form. Now that he's back in the team, it's great, and hopefully he stays fit. If he keeps playing the way he is, he'll be our player of the year the way it's going. Callum McGregor, I'm going to give a 8. Yes, a lot of people will be saying McGregor's not been that good this year, but he's the man who strolls the game when he needs to. And I think the last couple of games he hasn't been as good as what he was for the kind of first portion of the season, but it's Callum McGregor. I don't think he's put too many feet wrong this season. I think a lot of people will say he's nowhere near as good as he has been over the last 2-3 seasons, what we've seen, what is the best of McGregor, but we've had to rely on him a lot this year. I think a lot of his work, his hard work, will go overlooked because of the kind of end product that he might not have, like Rogic and Christie and such. He doesn't really get the final assist, he doesn't sometimes get the goal, but the passing and kind of separating the game and being that kind of bridge between defence and attack is a lot for McGregor, and the hard work will go overlooked. He does so much running, he plays so many minutes. Sometimes he will have bad games, and that's natural for someone who's playing so much football, but look, he's marvellous, and he will be probably the biggest part of our season in terms of leading this team somewhere, and hopefully to 10 in a row, because of the experience. He's been there and he's done it, look, he strolls it, as I said. Olivier and Cham, it's such a difficult one. 4.5 I'm giving him. A lot of people will be jumping off their seats. What are you talking about? He's been so weird this season in Cham. Like, we cried out for him to be in that team at the start of the season when he was left out, and he came in and he done well, like, this is why he's here. But over the last few weeks and the last few games, he's looked lazy, he's looked like he's not interested, and you'll always get that element of the Celtic supporter who claim that all the time, but just as of recent he's not been too electrifying, and look, he's a quality player, and when he plays his best he's one of the best in the country, but we've not really seen his best this season, and it's so frustrating. He needs to get back to it, and I have faith that he will. I don't know if it is purely form and he just can't find it, or if it is a mental thing, if he is wanting out the club. Of course, Neil Lennon spoke about after the Ferencváros game there was players who didn't want to be here, and I can only assume he was one of them, and the rumours were he was one of them. God knows what it is, but for me he's been nothing special this year, and it's so frustrating. Players like Turnbull should be getting in ahead of him at the minute. Mohamed El Yunusi, chips, cheese, and you know the rest. And look, the last few weeks he has been unbelievable, and he's really right now making a claim to be Celtic's Player of the Year. If he keeps this up, he's been the goal scorer, he's been the creator, he's done everything. The way he cuts inside, the way he can also play down the wing, taking his man on, shooting from outside the box with actual effective shots. Look, he's a player, and this is him back at his best now that he's playing the role that he should be. We've waited for so long for this because he's been, thrown into the striker role and the number 10 role at times, and it didn't make any sense. Now that he's playing on the left wing where he should be, we're seeing what he can do. For me, I'm going to give him a 6.5, which if you based it off the last month alone, it would be a 9 for me, because he's been our best player at times, and he's been scoring the goals. He's been doing the striker's job, for God's sake. But over the course of the full season so far, I'm giving it a 6.5, because I think he started quite slowly. Apart from that game against Reykjavik, when he scored a hat-trick, or was it 2 goals, can't remember now, but it was great in that game. Apart from that, he just wasn't in the role he was meant to play, which is not so much a criticism of him, it's more a criticism of Lennon and the game plan, but the last few weeks he's been amazing. 6.5 is what I'm going with for now. People will say, 8, 9 for him because he has been that good over the last few weeks, but you've got to understand, the context of this video is the whole season so far. Odds on Edouard, 5. He started coming to life a wee bit more in the last 2 or 3 games. You can see the kind of the positives that he brings to the game. You can see the qualities that he brings, his hold-up play. He's got a couple of assists now, but he's still not doing what we need him to do, and that's score goals. He's got a hat-trick in the first game of the season and a couple since then. That's it. This is the man who's maybe the best player in the country, a man that's maybe worth 30, 40 million pounds, and he's not really showed it this season, which is so frustrating. And I think that's another thing. It comes down to the game plan. It's not really suited him at times. I think he's still trying to find partnerships with the likes of Ayeti and Kamara, who are new to him, and also he's just been out with injury for a lot of the season and struggling to get fit, which is so frustrating. He was out with the COVID as well. It's been a very up and down season for him, more downs than ups, and that's purely because he's been dropping in and out, in and out. He can't find his footing with sitting on the bench or sitting in the stands. He needs to be on the park, and look, hopefully this international break is a time for him to get himself together, get some fitness in, and then start scoring goals when we're back. But right now, 5 is all I can give him. And I want to be able to say 9, 10 for Edouard because he's so good and he's a special player and one that we've got to cherish while he's at Celtic. But this season, he's not been giving us the goods that we need. Leigh Griffiths, I'm going to give a 5 as well. I think he's done as much as what Edouard has done, and some would maybe argue more than Edouard because he's came in and he scored big goals. The game against St Johnstone, particularly when we looked as though we were about to drop points once more, and then the 90th minute, bang, the wee man steps up and does it. Griffiths needs to get fit. He needs to get that match day fitness that can last him the course of 90 minutes. A half isn't good enough at the minute. Yes, it's good having Griffiths as a game changer to come off the bench and give us goals like that, but we really need him to be starting games. If we want Edouard to be partnered with anyone right now, you could argue Griffiths is the one because of how well they played in the last part of last season. We need him fit. He can score big goals. He's not been all negatives this season. The start was much worse than what it's been recently. Where there was doubts of whether he would even get back into the Celtic team. He's pulled it back, which is good. 5 is what I'm going to give him. That's going to be a bit of a debate in the comments, I imagine. You can't give Edouard and Griffiths the same rating. But I think it's going to be a flip. I think there'll be people saying Griffiths been better, but then you get some people saying Edouard's been better. I'm going with 5 just to cop out on both of them. I'll be on Ayeti. What a player he looked at the start of his Celtic career. The first few games, 5 goals in the opening 5 or 6 games for him. He's slowed down since then. Another guy who's struggled for fitness. This season, we need to sort that out, man. Players are not fit. We're picking up injuries, but obviously we can't just blame ourselves for injuries, but the fitness issues have been terrible, and Ayeti's not played 90 minutes yet, has he? I can't think of it off the top of my head if he has. It looks great. It looks like the goal scorer we need alongside Edouard, someone else to pick up the scraps, do the final thing, and that shoot, and he looks as though he's got some finish on him. I've really liked Albion Ayeti so far, and when he came in, I was like, he's going to score 20 goals easy this season, but unless he gets his fitness together soon and gets a run of games under his belt, he's not going to hit 20, but I'm going to give him a 6. I think he has been our best striker this season, and that goes to show you with the goals that he's scored more than the other strikers, or at least came close to scoring more goals as well. He's had more chances, but we really need these strikers fit. We're playing at the moment like we've not got any, and that's a real big issue. But for me, Ayeti has been really solid. I'm going to give him a 6. Which brings me on to the final player, Patrick Kamara. I'm going to give a 4 for now. I don't think he's been bad. He had a couple of dodgy misses, which are like, oh my god, but he's had a couple of really good shots that have turned into goals as well. His finishing looks as though it is getting better. But he's going to be the guy who's not going to get as many chances as those other 3, but he has had chances, so he deserves to be in this video. Look, I hope Kamara comes through, and I hope we see him more, and I hope he gets more goals, but right now, I can't really justify giving him more than that for the minutes that he has played, because I think Edouard, Griffiths and Ayeti have had more of an input in how our season has shaped so far than what he has. I have faith he'll be something special for us at some point. It's just a matter of when Lennon puts that faith in him. That's it. That's what I've gave all the ratings for so far this season. That's my thoughts. I'm sure it's going to be up for hefty debate in the comments. Some people agree, some people disagree. Let me know what you think in the comments below. There are players that you will notice have been missed out. James Forrest being a notable one. I just don't think he's played enough football, and with this big injury now, it's not like we're going to see him anytime soon to get to speak about what he is, to improve on and what he'll do moving forward. We're not going to see him at probably January, so not much else I can say on that front. Let me know your thoughts anyway. Like and subscribe, check out OneFootball in the top line of the description also. I'll see you all next time.